Hello everyone, it's your favorite boy, Yammie Noob. That was almost too simple. Hello everyone, it's your immortal bald-headed dude, the guy with thighs, the back-to-back Daytona Slayer, the man with the manscaped pubes, Yammie Noob. Alright, that was better. Heads up to the haters, Uncle Yammie J is a part-time team member. Look guys, some of you hate him, others really like him. If you prefer to hate, well, you're kinda SOL. Uncle Jams will be dropping vids with us from time to time. He has his own baby Jam following, so for those seeking enlightenment by the power of Rossi, Uncle Yammie J is your guide. And come on guys, let's be real. He sounds better than me. After going to EICMA, I can tell you that 2020 does have a few trends that will become apparent. I'll go over a few of the good and the bad in this video. Some things don't go away. Like a stretch 600, they will stay and stare you down. Anyways, lightweight bikes. One of the best upcoming trends for 2020 is lighter and smaller bikes. Guys, this is one we can really get on board together. I think the industry keeps pushing for bigger and faster and heavier and bulkier, when in reality, the skill level of riders demand that we need smaller bikes to hone our craft on. We don't all need leader bikes, H2s, or Busas to rip around on, but we are glad they exist. Last year, Aprilia had an awesome concept bike with a displacement of 660 cc's. The bike had 100 horsepower and weighed roughly 370 pounds. This year, that same bike, the Aprilia RS 660, is being produced, and while the Tuono 660 came out as a concept, is this a sign of changing times? Honestly, yes. More manufacturers are starting to have problems with meeting the strict emission requirements of Europe, and people just aren't buying that many hyper-nakeds and leader bikes, so it's only natural that smaller bikes are becoming more available. With the trend of 600-ish cc bikes, maybe the industry will head back towards finer tuning on smaller bikes, which will make for better track and street machines. Kawasaki's doing the ZX25R, a 250cc inline 4-cylinder bike. I feel excited because I think we're finally getting the kind of engine performance out of smaller bikes that riders have been wanting for years. The big ones are going. If the leader bikes or even super sport bikes such as the Hayabusa and the ZX14R are planning on staying around, they're gonna need higher sales figures and to be able to meet tighter emissions regulations. Suzuki has already begun pulling the Hayabusa out of the European market, citing emission standards as its reason. The Kawasaki ZX14R is also on the chopping block. Although popular amongst the stretched and lowered crowd, both bikes have a very limited presence in Europe. The bikes are either for bragging rights or for track use, but daily riding such a big bike in the cramped city streets of Europe and Asia must be tough. Other bikes such as the super fast H2 and H2R are staying, along with other leader bikes. The obnoxiously big and bulky are going though. I talk a lot about turbo boosas and ripping mega dank canooners, but on the streets of other continents, a lot of bigger bikes just don't work out for the average rider. Not to mention the licensing requirements, insurance requirements, and all that just to be able to run a Busa or a 14R. Electric bikes. This one is neither a good trend nor a bad trend. It's something that's happening and we can't stop it. With the displays at EICMA for all the electric bikes, that's where the future of motorcycling is headed. Hell, even Kawasaki is starting to get in the e-bike game. We've done a couple videos of Yammie Noob, the pros and cons of electric bikes, and I'll just reiterate. I think they're cool, they're torque monsters, and they're gonna get more people involved with our hobby. What I don't like, and many will probably agree with me, is that electric bikes can't go on longer trips. Recharging them can be time-consuming and difficult. We like the bikes, they're starting to look really good and perform really well, but we just want to see more of a gasoline-like range and infrastructure to support them in the future. Electric motorcycles are still in the early stages of adoption though, so if you don't want one now, you don't have to buy one. In 2020, I can pretty much tell you that all electric motorcycles are going to become more popular. Expect to see an increase in electric vehicle infrastructure and be on the lookout for some serious electric motorcycles and more emerging electric technology. Most notable is the Harley-Davidson Livewire as the company enters the market of electric bikes. If you told me 10 years ago that Harley-Davidson would be making an electric bike, I wouldn't believe you. And on that topic, electronics and technology. One of the best and worst trends for all of the new motorcycles coming out is that they are now packed full of electronics. Just the same as the car industry will wait to put luxurious technology in commuter cars, motorcycle manufacturers cram as much technology into their flagship leader bikes, but then leave the rest of their models behind. Well, 2020 is our year because the small bikes are starting to get the TFT displays, wheelie control, traction control, standard ABS, and other electronics on them. Don't expect much from bikes not capable of wheelies though. However, anything can wheel. As for the technology on bikes, parts are being supplied more consistently by some of the best brands available. More bikes have Brembo brakes than OEM ever before. Showa forks are on more bikes, and the amount of engineering going into motorcycles is more abundant than before. You no longer have to buy the leader bike because the displays and tech are being passed on in the trickle effect. The worst part about technology is that it can be bad for anyone trying to get into motorcycling. I'll just rant for a minute and say that a lot of the new technology should be kept away from smaller bikes and beginner bikes. Yes, we like the trickle-down effect from leader bikes, but too much tech on a bike can become overwhelming to a new rider. Seriously, do you want to have to deal with a gauge cluster with an ultra-bright display, 8 different modes, and a digital tack that goes around in a circle, all while you're just trying to make a 90-degree turn without dropping it? In order to become a good rider, I think you should start off on a bike without these comforts. It takes away from your ability to learn. Some pieces of tech like quick shifters are doing just that. People aren't learning how to downshift properly. A lot of car guys learn to drive stick the hard way, in a Colt Vista without a tachometer. Dad probably wasn't nice either and yelled every time you stalled. The same should go for motorcyclists. Get on a bike with no bells, whistles, or comforts and learn how to ride first. Stall it a bunch of times because once you know what you're doing, no one can take that away from you, and tech is only going to make you better. Take away a rider who gets accustomed to technology and now you have someone paralyzed because their comforts are gone. Quick shifters are awesome for race applications and they're pretty cool overall, but as a mod for daily riding, the normal shifting style should be used. Go manual. Retro motorcycles. One of the trends that I can definitely get on board with is that of the retro bikes. By retro, I'm talking about your scramblers, cafe racers, and flat trackers. Compared to the automotive world, having retro bikes follows suit with the reemergence of the muscle car era, which we've seen with cars since the 2010s. These new bikes have the looks of the older designs but are much more refined during manufacturing process. The lights are upgraded to the cleaner and sharper looking LEDs, parts are made perfectly using CNC machining processes, and the craftsmanships of the rest of the bikes are a huge improvements over the ones they're resembling. And can we say no more carburetors? Because I sure can. Some of the benefits of these motorcycles is that you get the retro look, but with modern day reliability of fuel injection, fuel efficiency, and modern day conveniences. I can't complain. I do own a Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled myself, but another cool retro bike, it's the return of the Suzuki Katana. Yeah, this thing is like the beacon to anyone that knew what was cool between 1981 and 2006. The Katana's return is exactly what riders wanted, an old model repurposed for the future with plenty of updates. Me personally, I am still waiting until the comeback of 80s and 90s style. I think the 2020s and 2030s will give us exactly that though. Winglets. It's still trending, sadly. Winglets. Much as the same of body kits on a car, winglets on a daily ridden bike are useless and just for bragging rights. Ever seen a car ride around with a parachute? He's just showing off. We get it, you track your car and you drag your chute, but for a bike to ride around with these winglets on them, there's just no benefit. The highest speed limit is 80, and you're not going to be doing anything that nearly resembles your track performance on the streets. I think the absolute worst part about winglets is that they start on really expensive bikes. Bikes purposed for track duty and high speeds, while parts companies begin to make winglet kits for every available bike on the market. If it isn't bad enough that your salvage titled 2003 Gixxer 750 has 55,000 miles on it, on top of that you want to add these little winglets for aerodynamics and stability at high speeds. Cool story, bro. It does just as much good as your stretch kit. Winglets just don't sit right with me, especially the kind that stick on with the double-sided tape and are purchased from the internet. If your bike didn't come with them from the factory, odds are you don't own a wind tunnel and can't find the most optimal place to install them. You're welcome. Now, the elephant in the room with winglets obviously is that manufacturers make them to compete in World Superbike, to homologate them, and to get that extra edge in performance, but it does look silly on a street bike. I'm looking at you, Ducati V4S. Auto blip down quick shifters. Now, if you guys know me, you know that I rock a 675R for the track, and it does come equipped with a quick shifter that blips up for me. It's really great. You pin it wide open and you grab a gear and it goes automatically into the next gear. It's sweet. But a downshift quick shifter is a little different. It automatically blips the throttle for you, allowing you to focus a little bit more on your braking applications. That way you don't have to manage your clutch and your throttle while you select the gear down and rev match accordingly. Now, I think it's great to include auto blip down quick shifters for new motorcycles. I think it helps people trying to get the most out of the track-oriented machines, but for regular road bikes, I think it just turns it into a glorified scooter. I still like grabbing a gear down manually while having a quick shift up. I think that's a great compromise. Hypersports. The last trend I'm going to discuss is neutral. It's both awesome and unnecessary, just like the speed wars between the Hayabusa and the Blackbird, and then the ZX-14R and the Hayabusa. With the release of the Kawasaki Ninja H2 and the H2R, the company is expanding on its success. By using the same engine in different bikes, enter the ZH2, which is a naked bike with the H2 engine. Check out the Bimota Tezzy that has the H2 engine as well. Kawasaki may be stumbling onto the right thing here, make bikes that are insanely fast but are also easy on the eyes, and suddenly have a broader audience wanting these speed demons. For what it's worth, Kawasaki might be challenging the MV Agusta Brutale 1000 Serie Oro, that is a long name, the bike known to be the world's fastest naked. I don't know who started this other speed war, but I kind of want to see where it's going. With the departure of the 1300cc superbike, something else has to come in and reign supreme, even if it's just for bragging rights on a naked bike. Well, that's about it for my ranting and raving for the upcoming motorcycle trends. Is there something you think that is coming that we haven't covered? Are twin-turbo Groms finally gaining traction? Let us know in the comments below. I always love hearing from you guys. And remember, if you're not signed up yet, hit the link below and go to yammienoob.co. Get yourself signed up to win one of the free motorcycles I'm giving away. I've got a Honda CB650R, a Suzuki DRZ 400, and a Kawasaki Ninja 400 up for grabs. Click below and get started, or you can go to yammienoobmerch.com, spend $1 and get yourself one entry to win for each motorcycle. Thanks again, see you later. Fact: although an extraordinary feat, climbing Mount Everest includes the grim reality of seeing and stepping over bodies of climbers who've passed away on the mountain. There is no way to safely remove most of them, so they remain as landmarks. Goodbye.